Hi everyone. I'm going to do another live video here. I'm going to make a real basic salsa ranchera. Per request, I've had a lot of people ask me how to make a salsa. I do have a video on Fun Cooking with Mary, a YouTube channel, or you can Google it, Mary's Memorable Dishes, and you will find my salsa ranchera somewhere in there. So sorry I don't have them categorized, but I figure it's a beautiful Sunday morning, and I went to a few farmers markets locally, and I really enjoyed them. A smaller one, but it's really nice. They have some really nice vegetables, and everything's like pretty much organic and really good prices. So and I found some. I shop at a local co-op store, which I enjoy very much, and I find some things there. So I found this look at all these tomatoes, $3, really cheap. And I found some cilantro. You could just tell when it's organic and when it's like homegrown or when it's in the garden. It's so fresh. I just love the smell of cilantro. Don't knock cilantro. It's actually really good for you. And I got some lime, some salt and pepper, and some comino. Now I bought my comino. I didn't get it at the store. There's a difference when you go to an organic store to find your comino, and I bought it in bulk, and it smells so sweet. It doesn't smell, it's got a rancid, and people who knock comino, they're getting the wrong kind, because this stuff isn't packaged, and it's so delicious. I mean it's got like these smoky, beautiful flavors, and are kind of sweet, smoky, and a little bit of rustic, and I think you'll enjoy this comino if you buy it in bulk, and if you buy it at a local organic that does their homework, that goes out to these places and they look for the best product. So it's worth your money. And of course I have my tomatoes, but basically what I did was I grilled them, because I want to get that smoky, and you just get your grill. Make sure you have your fan on, and you just grill them up until they're softened. And like I grilled my onions, I grilled my my garlic, and I have some serrano peppers, so I use that. And you could use a mixer. I have my Ninja, or you could use a food processor. Now the food processor, it's gonna make it a little bit more chunkier. So I think you'll like that consistency to make it more chunkier. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use my mixer. Okay, and what I did was I make sure you might want to put a little bit of oil on your cast iron skillet. See, that sticks a little bit. Well, what I do is I make sure your tomatoes are thoroughly rinsed, and that's all you have to do is basically do it like that. And then you can put it in a pot. You can put it in a pot of boiling, just boil it a little bit, and make sure that, let's see, I guess we could do that. We'll go ahead and boil up some water here. Yes. Remove some of this water. You don't need a lot of water, because I actually like cooking my salsa. You can make it fresh, or you can cook it. I'm going to go ahead and just tear some of the cilantro, put it in my mixer for right now. Okay, and then wait for my water to boil up. Okay, it should be boiling. I just have a little bit. But after you make your salsa, you just find some clean jars. get a whole bunch of tomatoes, find a whole bunch of clean jars. Make sure you boil them thoroughly. You want to wash them, you want to boil them, and you want to take them out. You want to really sanitize your. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna preserve, but you really want to sanitize your jars and your lids. And they have the lids. You can find them at a local store anywhere, pretty much. And then you take them out and you let them dry. But you want to boil them for a good amount of time. And then after you make your salsa, you can fill it up. You want to make sure that you fill it up, and you want to leave about, I would say about 1/4 of an inch from the top, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Now I've done some preserving, and I've taken them to the state fair for ribbons, and it's been a while, but basically what I did was I followed their guidelines, because that's how they grade you. So if you're going to take your salsas to any fair events, make sure you follow the guidelines, because that's what they'll judge you. They'll judge you on consistency. They'll judge you on how they know if your jar has been properly boiled. For some reason, they're just pros. So you got a canning pros out there that are going to judge your stuff. I've only have one ribbon that's best of class, which I still have that ribbon. That was years ago, and I did a pear compo. So, if you're going to do the salsas for the state fair, make sure that you get the right jars and they're consistent, and be proud of your stuff. So, and enter it. It's fun. It's really fun. So, okay, my stuff is boiling, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my tomatoes, and I just put a little bit of water because there's fluid in the tomatoes. And so the rule of thumb in making your salsa is how my mother used to teach me, Salsa Ranchera, it's 1 pepper per tomato. Now, your tomatoes should, if it's your chili peppers are in the summer, they're going to be hotter than in the winter, of course. And when you can get tomatoes and you can get summer, but oh my gosh, if you can get your tomatoes now, your tomates now are the best time to get them. And they're sweet and they're just beautiful right now. So rule of thumb, 1 pepper per tomato. Make sure your tomato is a good size. Make sure it's a good size tomato, because they're hot, like I said. And I don't take the seeds out. I don't do all that stuff. And I just add my salt, my pepper. If you want to put some pepper, I add my pepper in there. Okay? And then and it only takes a couple minutes for it to soften up. I put on high heat. And if you're making your salsa and all of a sudden you forget about it, and it's so it's a little burnt, and you find, oh, my salsa's burnt. It just burnt a little bit. I'm talking about like a brown color. So if it's a little burnt on about, don't freak out. Take your salsa and just add a little bit of water to it. If it's brown, if the water dried up and it's brown, just add a little bit of water to it. It's going to give it that little bit of a smoky flavor, so it'll be even better. You can purposely do it. So, but you just let that cook. And let's see, what else can I think of? So, okay, we talked about the state fair. You know, if you're taking your goods to your canned goods to the fair. I did it for 3 years straight, and I got a whole bunch of ribbons, and that was like my proudest time. I have moments. So, and then my mother used to make it and put it also in freezer. You can freeze your salsa. You can stick it in some containers and freeze it. That's fine for later, but it's going to lose a consistency. So, and if you're going to use like canned tomatoes, that's fine. You don't have to do this process. But to make a really good salsa ranchera, yeah, fresh, everything fresh. And you just stick it in a pot. You don't want to cook your cilantro, unless you want to, but I don't. That's something that stays fresh. And then let me see. It's almost done. Salsa, I mean, you can make like, I'd get a whole case if I could and jar them up and have them for all year. They last a whole year. If you do your canning process properly, they last. You don't have to put any pectin in them. This is your preserver, your lemons and your limes. That's like your natural pectin that's going to keep your stuff preserved. And like I said, I'm not going to do a canning clip this time, but at least you'll have the salsa for you. Okay, I think this is almost done. You see, I only put that in for a couple minutes. We'll get a fork. But I really want them to cook. I want it to cook properly, or you could just steam them. Or like I said, you could do it fresh. So it's up to you. So I have onions. I put like 1 onion. But what I'm going to use, I'm not going to use all my tomatoes. I'm going to use like a puree. I'm going to add it in there afterwards. So make sure you have a bowl because you want to mix it. I'm going to be mixing it up here in a minute. Let me move this stuff aside. Just wanted to show you. You could use these little cherry tomatoes. It makes wonderful salsa. Heirloom tomatoes. Oh, that's just like taking it up. That's like rich folks salsa. So you're taking it up a notch if you use heirloom tomatoes. I usually use the jalapenos, but I had some serrano peppers and I wanted to use them up. Oh, I could actually feel the serrano peppers coming to my throat right now. And that means it's going to be kind of spicy because those are hot peppers that I'm using. Okay, I think that's done. I'm going to let it steam up a little bit. Just a little bit. I put this aside. I want to save my tomatoes for another video clip that I'm using. Fun Cooking with Mary. Watch my videos. And I got some pretty good ones out there, I think. So, okay. I think that's about done. Yeah, they're pretty soft. They're going to be a little chunky, but I want to hurry up. But I usually cook them until they're really soft. And this probably could have used a little bit more, but you can see how well, I don't think you can see it, but you see all that liquid coming out? So that's coming out on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and dump it in there. Hopefully this thing doesn't crash on me. Okay, so I have that, and then I have my cilantro, I have my tomatoes, I have my ajo, my garlic, my onions, they're all charred, and my peppers. And so you just want to go ahead and squeeze. I know I got an old-fashioned little thing here that you put your lemon in here, or your lime. I like using lime. And then salt and pepper and comino. So I'm going to add a little bit of comino in there. Okay. Put a little bit of comino. Just a little. Okay, I put a little bit more. I probably put about, God, this stuff is good. I haven't had really good comino in a long time. And I found it and I was like, oh, this is the best smelling comino. I don't know where they get it from, but it's really delicious. And it smells wonderful. It's got to smell good, right? And it's fresh. Not that stuff that they package and God knows what kind of processing it goes through. But I was happy to find some good comino. And if you can tell me where I can get some epazote, let me know, please. Because I need some epazote. Fresh. Let's just mix that up. Yeah, that's hot. Oh! careful. So, I'm gonna pour that in there. Did you see that consistency? Okay, that's a good consistency. I'm gonna go ahead and add, and it's hot and hot. So I'm gonna add this extra sauce in there. I might need to put a little bit more, but this is gonna be a hot salsa. I already know. But I want to get, what I want are the flavors. Make sure I get the flavors in there properly. Get a spoon or a chip if you like. Just taste it. That's good. I think I want to add some more lime to it. So I'll grab another, or some lemon. I think I'm going to use some lemon. So you can put both. Oh, that's good salsa. And you could just kind of flavor it up a little bit more. Put a little bit, that's probably a quarter of a lemon that I squeezed in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more salt, just a little bit more salt. And a little bit more of my comino. And it's pretty much, that's spicy. Okay. Where's my spoon? Okay. Get another one. That's good salsa. Okay. Now, if you're using jalapenos, those are my favorite. But like I said, if you have the serranos, that's a whole different flavor. When you're making your salsa, it depends on the peppers that you use. If you want to use some mild peppers, you could roast your Anaheim peppers, peel them. You don't want to put like bell peppers and the peppers with the thicker skin on them because it won't be nice. So if you're going to use them, make sure you roast them and you boil them as well, and you peel them. Okay, and I'm just going to stick this in a jar. Okay. Make sure it's clean. Okay, and that's about 1/4 inch. You want to always make sure that when you are storing it, you want to clean the rim of that. Always make sure you clean it. Anyways, take your lid, put it on, and then you stick it back in a pot of boiling water, and you let it boil for, I would say, a good half hour. And then you just take them out. When you're canning, you take them out, and you wait for it to go pop. The lid will go pop, and that means it's sealed. All the air is out of there. Oh, and when you are canning, make sure that there's no bubbles inside the salsa. Make sure there's no bubbles in there, and you could use like a instrument. They have canning instruments where you can just poke down and let that bubble come up before you actually put a lid on it. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.